Hi everyone, and welcome back to Lavender Cottage Fibre Arts podcast. This is our podcast where we talk about fibre art, so mostly knitting and crochet, but sometimes embroidery, weaving, sewing, and just other crafty related
cottage core related
endeavours. Yep.
Because I have a few non-fibre arts things today.
So my name is Anna.
And I'm Pia.
And we are twin sisters from Melbourne in Australia. And before we launch into the podcast, we would just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands of that we're recording this podcast on, which is the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin nation, and extend our respect to their elders past, present and emerging, and also any Indigenous, Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who might be watching this podcast. So I think, should we just, we'll probably just jump into our first section. Yeah, I don't think we've got anything.
Any other general updates?
No, I think so. So we'll just, get into updating you on anything that we've finished.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so our first segment is called Hot Off the Hooks, or Hot Off the Needles, or Kiln, because I have some pottery things today as well.
Yep.
This is where we just talk about any of our FOs, which is finished objects, so anything that we have completed recently.
So do you want to go first? Because you've got a bit of a precarious situation.
Yeah, I've got everything laid out on
your lap. Yeah.
So one of the projects that I've completed recently is some pottery things, some decorations for my garden. So let's see, how far do I have to hold it? Oops, that's the wrong way. So I made these
Maybe
little
I can hold
kind
some
of
of them too. Do you want me to?
Flower, things, little that's like a little echinacea, little cone flower, ladybird and a frog. I've got a bee. Oops.
Got so many different ones.
Oops. A little, is that focused?
Yep, a little bee.
A bee. And a poppy and a sunflower.
Maybe we can add some
put
photos
a photo of them actually in the garden.
In situ, yeah. That would be nice.
And then I have a few more that I haven't put on the little sticks. So
and this one as well.
Oh, sorry.
Little
is this
a dove?
It's like a chicken.
Oh, chicken. Okay.
But I could probably make it in white clay as well.
Like
it would be like a dove. And then I've got a few more ones here. Oops. That's like a little barn.
I think the barn you showed as a
windmill
whip in our last podcast, I think.
Yeah, I think I had some of them as whips in the last episode, and then this is like a little tulip kind of thing. So yeah, I've just made these, and so it's just like normal clay, and then I painted it with underglaze, and then the wire is just florist wire that I just got from Spotlight, and it's just glued in.
And I think you said maybe in the last podcast episode, all of the shapes, they're like cookie stamps, aren't they?
Yeah, so there's like a cookie cutter and then like a matching stamp to make the impressions for it, and that just makes it a bit easier to be able to paint it. Like you could just cut out the shape and then paint it just freehand,
but it has these little ridges,
the ridges and divots, or what, I don't know what you call it, but it just makes it a bit easier.
I think it makes it look a little bit more
it's like a bit more 3D,
three-dimensional.
Yeah, like you can see the poppy has kind of like the little stamen type things. So that's what I've been working on. So I think I'll probably do another frog, because I had one frog in my herb garden, but then I also have two little mini fish ponds where I've got some aquatic plants in there, so I think a frog would look quite cute in the fish pond. And I've just been making some these for my garden. I thought they would probably also be nice little little Christmas gifts. I think for our sort of friend group, we don't really buy gifts for each other, but something handmade would be nice. So little gifts or just little decorations. And then the other sort of finished thing that I've finally kind of actually finished putting them up is, and I'll put a photo of those as well, I made a bunch of decorative ceramic tiles that had little flower in kind of a relief design, so it was a raised. I think
you might have shown them in a previous podcast episode as well, a while ago.
Maybe probably, because I think I made them almost a year ago, and then they've just been sitting there, like, and I didn't get around to like actually hanging them up. But then like last weekend, like now that we're getting into the warmer weather here in Melbourne, because it's sort of and getting towards the end of spring, I'm getting into summer, I decided to do a big like kind of cleaning bee and working bee on my deck and get it all kind of like nice and ready for summer to sit outside. So yeah, I hung up some of those tiles outside to kind of just decorate my outdoor living area. Yeah, but I'll put some photos up of those. Cool. I think that's all I had for the finished stuff.
Okay. So I'll probably start off with what I'm wearing. So this is a Ghost Whisperer top, which is from Park Williams, who is, I think Park and Knit is her Instagram. And this is, I think, the third Ghost Whisperer I have made. I think I showed it in our last episode. It was a whip and I just had the sleeves to do. And so this one, the yarn is a Rowan Kidsilk Haze in the colour Anemone. And I knit the size large, and I did knit it just a little bit longer than the pattern suggested, but I think I did the sleeves a little bit shorter than the pattern suggested.
Oh, okay.
And I knit the size large, and I used just under 420 meters. So they come in 25 gram balls, so it was basically just under 25 grams. And what I actually ended up doing, once I finished the body, I just weighed how much I had left. And then I basically knit one sleeve until I had, I think I thought that for the I-cord bind off, I thought like 1.5 grams would be like a pretty liberal estimate for that. So I knit until I had half minus 1.5 grams, did the bind off and then did the other sleeve. And then I think I ended up being left with about, 12 meters of yarn. So basically I used all of it pretty much. Yeah, so that's this one. The only thing I think I discussed in the last episode, I did find with the other ones that I knit, there was like a lot of extra fabric under the arm. So I thought maybe after I picked up the stitches for the arms, if I did slightly more increases on the top of the shoulder, but added in some decreases underneath the arm, that could reduce that. It didn't really seem to make much of a difference. So I don't think I would bother with that in the future. But yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. I really, really love the colour. And it looks quite nice. I'm wearing it with like a black tank top underneath, but I think previously I've worn it with a white tank top underneath as well. And I think it looks nice either way. Very nice, sort of just like purple, but with a hint of blue, sort of like almost veering towards periwinkle.
Yeah, it is. I would say like kind of a periwinkle colour. Yep.
Yeah, so apart from that, I have a whole bunch of socks and then one other garment. So 2 of the pairs of socks I actually don't have because they were for my dad, and I've already given them to him and he's been wearing them all the time. So
you might be wearing them right now.
Probably. So yeah, they're probably looking a little bit sort of fluffy and things like that. So both of them I knit with the Schoppel Crazy Zauberball in the Stärke 6, which is like their 6 ply. So it's not a sock yarn. They say it's sort of a sport weight. I found though that I actually I was happy with the fabric if I used a 2.25 millimeter needle, which a lot of people would use that for a 4 ply or a fingering weight sock yarn, but I use a 2 millimeter, which is a US 0 for fingering weight. So I just went up 1 needle size. I found that if I used like a pattern that was recommended for sport weight or DK weight socks, to me it was too loose and open.
Okay.
And I think for socks, like a bit of a firmer fabric is better, like they wear better.
Yep.
If they're a bit more durable, if the fabric is a little bit firmer. So yes, I knit him 2 more pairs of socks. So the first colorway I used was called Tiefe, which is deep water in English. And that one, I think, so the first pair of socks that I did for him, I used the Fish Lips Kiss heel. The second pair, I just thought I'd try a few different heels and then ask him which ones he finds
the most comfortable. Yep.
The second pair, the deep water ones, I did with a heel flap and gusset. And then the third pair of socks that I knit for him, so the second pair from this episode, the colorway is called Jacke which I think in English, like the direct translation is like jacket as pants, but I think they just call it jacket and pants.
Okay.
Jacket and trousers, sorry. And that one I knit with an afterthought heel, just because I thought the Zauberball, it's not like it's not a self-striping yarn in the sense that it has like a defined repeat that is always the same, but it is like a striping yarn. So I don't know, I personally prefer when the stripes are not interrupted by the heel, so that's why I thought maybe an afterthought heel would look better. And he actually said that he couldn't tell the difference between any of the different fits. So I think,
well then I guess if they all fit the same, then you can just do whatever you prefer the look of.
Yeah. So that's 2 pairs of socks, and then I also have 3 pairs of socks for myself. So these ones, I think I was just about finished in our previous episode. These ones are just a basic vanilla sock pattern with a fish slips kiss heel and a 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. These ones are a yarn from Maximu, who is an Australian indie dye based on the Mornington Peninsula, and the colourway for these is called Chloe. So it's really nice, sort of lot of green, blue, and a bit of purple in there as well. And these ones, his ultra soft sock base is a merino cashmere nylon. So it's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. And I for all of these socks, except for the Zauberball ones, I always use a 2mm needle on magic loop. That's just how I knit socks. And then my next pair of socks, I think these were the ones that I was working on in our knit and chat video that we made. So hopefully if you watched that, you enjoyed that one. So these ones, the colorway, the main color is Neon Lights from Woolen Works, who's another Melbourne-based indie dyer. And then for the contrast for the cuffs and toes, I used a mini that was just from like a Lucky Dip thing of minis that I got from a UK dyer called Cheshire Hand Dyed, I think is her name, and she's on Etsy. So that is these ones. I actually meant to do the contrast for the heel as well, but I like finished the first heel and was already knitting onto the foot. And I realised I'd forgotten, so I just thought,
I think they look nice either way.
Yeah, couldn't be bothered to go back and do the the heel again. And then so I do have one more pair of socks, but maybe while Pia is my assistant is getting it onto the blocker, I will show you my other garment. So this is, and I guess it kind of relates to these socks actually, because it's the same colorway but in a different base. So this is another Ghost Whisperer that I just finished the other day, and I'll see if I can hold the yarn up a little bit closer. I might also just put a photo because it is kind of getting a bit washed out, but this is actually the Neon Lights, so the same colorway as these socks, but on a mohair base. And so it's the same pattern as this one, so Ghost Whisperer by Park Williams. And once again, this one, the mohair, she sells it in 50-gram hanks, so it's like 420 meters. So I basically just use the whole thing. I think I knit this one, the body, I knit a little bit longer, so the sleeves have ended up being a little bit shorter than this one. And the only other change I made with this one as well was, so this one, for some reason, the first two I didn't have this problem, but for this one I found the neckline is a little bit tight. Like I can get it over my head, but it's just a bit tight. So for this one, I actually sized up a needle size for the bind off. So I think,
so it's just a bit
I think you knit the whole thing, I'm pretty sure, I can put it in the description box if I'm wrong. I think you knit the whole thing on a 6.5mm needle, and then use a 7.5 for the bind off for the sleeves and the neckline. And I think I actually used an 8mm or an 8.5, and it does fit. It fits much better over my head. So I think going forward, if I make this again, I would definitely size up like one additional size again, just for the I-cord bind off. I think just is a lot more comfortable to get it on and off, and like you don't want to risk depending on the color getting like makeup or whatever on your top if it's really tight. So yeah, I'm really happy with this one, and it's a like it's mohair, which I know some people do find a bit scratchy, but I find as far as mohair goes, like if I compare these two, I actually find this one's a little bit softer. So very nice. So yeah, I'll put some photos as well to show the color of that one. And then keeping with the kind of rainbow theme, this is another pair of socks, and these are just for me. So this is the first pair of socks that I've knit for myself from one of the Stärke 6 Zauberball. And this one, the colorway is called Vinkle, and I think I saw on some websites they said in English it's called Painter's Corner. But where I bought it from, they were all just the German names. Yeah. So this one, again, I knit it, I put in an afterthought heel, just because I preferred the look of that. And I knit this on a 2.25 millimeter. And I think because I just use Knitty Natty's, like her perfect fit formula, I worked out that for me, normally for like a fingering weight sock, I would do 64 stitches. For the leg and the foot, but for this weight of yarn I had to do 52 stitches. So that it actually helped me a lot to kind of I guess like be able to calculate and not have to do too much in terms of trial and error. So that is my last pair of socks. And so I think that's everything, all of my FOs. So just to update for my project.
Your yarnathon.
Yarnathon, yes.
Are you almost finished? Seems
no,
like you should be.
Not really. So this is just like a fun little game, I guess, where I'm trying to knit a marathon's worth of yarn. Since the last episode that we filmed, I've knitted, and it's all knitting actually, I haven't had any crochet FOs for a while. I've knit 2,075 meters, and that takes me up to 18,586 meters in total, which is 44% of a marathon.
Oh, so you're nearly halfway.
Yeah, nearly halfway. Maybe I could be halfway by the end of the year. Not too sure.
I guess over the Christmas break you'll have plenty of
but it'll
time
be hot,
for knitting.
So
yeah, but if you're knitting a sock or whatever, that's true. That's not too bad.
That's true.
You just don't want to be knitting like a huge blanket or whatever that's like over your lap.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's all for hot off the hooks. So I think
we'll go jump into the next segment.
Yep. Awesome. All right, so this is our second section of the podcast, which we call Whip It Good, which is where we share any whips or works in progress that we have on the go at the moment. So do you want to start?
Sure. So I have
this is the resurgence of
the resurgence of this, which is the Happy Valley Baby Afghan.
I haven't seen this for a while. It was hibernation for a little bit.
Knitted in the ice cream yarn from what's
Lion
brand. I was like so long ago, I can't even remember. And the pattern is just like a free pattern on their website, but it's basically just a mitre square blanket. But so to not have to deal with all of the ends, I thought I would get some, which I've got. So I made one step towards finishing it. I bought the fleece, so I've just got some like white like fleece fabric that I want to sew onto the back.
And did you decide, are you gonna like fill in so it's a straight edge, or are you just gonna
no, I think I'll leave the edges like
as it is,
as a zigzag.
And then do you just
for the backing I will just do up until there, and so there would
so
just
you can
be
sew it in a square, and you just hand stitch it basically.
I think so. I think that will be the easiest thing, and I'll maybe just, if I just get some like white thread that I think it won't be super visible. I suppose I could also do like maybe if I did like blanket stitch where you can see the stitches, that might look a bit funny. But yeah, so you
might be able to, even if you go on Ravelry, like you might see how other people have I'm sure there'll be other people who also like didn't want to bother with a backing.
I mean, I think also maybe some people just like would sew a backing on a blanket to make it like thicker and more warm as well,
and maybe just a bit more durable as well, that like, you know, little baby fingers are not like gonna like poke through the blanket kind of thing.
So yeah, so that will be, I mean, hopefully, I don't know if this will take all that long. The other thing I don't know, because like if you just sew it around the edges, like it will kind of like come apart quite easily.
If you want to maybe almost sort of like quilt it a little bit.
Or even just like at a few points, like kind of secure it in the middle of the blanket, so it doesn't, so it can't like kind of pull itself. Or not pull itself apart, but like that it's not just like this,
like it's not like a pillowcase
or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my main fibre arts whip. And then the other thing that I've been working on lately is another pottery thing, but I'll put a photo in because I don't have anything that's been fired yet. So nothing.
Oh, and you said like when it hasn't been fired, it's very like delicate that you can't pick it up.
Well, you can, but like you just want to try and avoid handling it as much as possible when it's still at it's called green ware, is where the clay has like dried but hasn't been fired yet. But so I'm making a bunch of like ceramic those like little garden stakes that you put in for like labeling herbs and vegetables and things like that. Just because I thought, I mean, I'll make some for my own garden. I have made some already, but I need to do a couple more for plants that I didn't originally make labels for. But then also I thought they would be nice little like Christmas gifts, like just a little tie up a little bundle of maybe half a dozen of them for some friends that have also got like a little herb garden, or mum's got a few.
Even if someone didn't have a herb garden, you could like make some labels and then buy some seeds
and put the seeds with
it.
So
you could have like a herb
nice
garden like starter pack,
gift pack.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think that would be quite a cute little gift,
Christmas gift for someone.
And I think I definitely have some spare seeds from like some things that I planted. Like when they give you the packet, there's like 25, 30 seeds in there or whatever, and I only planted like half a dozen, so I've still got some more left over.
You could just put them in little envelopes or something.
So cool. That's my other whip at the moment. So I think I've made about 40 of those markers. So I've been in they're quite I guess like once you get going, they're like quite quick to kind of mass produce.
Get a bit of a production line.
Yeah.
And I guess the good thing about doing it yourself is like if you have some herbs that are maybe like
a bit more obscure that you can,
or like if you have like chives and garlic chives or whatever, you can kind of differentiate.
Yes. Like one of the like things in my garden is wasabi rocket, which it tastes like wasabi. Like it's pretty incredible. Like when you bite into it, but like I would never be able to buy a like label for that because it's just
to custom make.
Custom make it. So and then I guess I was kind of thinking maybe if that would be something that I could potentially do as like just a little bit of a sort of hobby kind of thing to sell them on somewhere like Facebook Marketplace. But I'll see how this is. Making them as gifts is really just a trial run to see like how much time it takes and that kind of thing. So because I that's something that has sort of occurred to me, that I think my house is kind of at the maximum like saturation point of pottery things. So I probably have to think of something that I can start doing with the thing, because I would like to keep making things. I really enjoy it. But then, you've obviously got to find homes for it all.
Cool.
You're probably going to be the same way with socks.
Well, I think I am just about there.
Yeah.
Which actually... we'll talk about that in our dream weaving section. I have something to say with regards to socks and stuff for dream weaving, but this is Whip It Good, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I just have 2 whips to show today. One is a sock as per usual, and then the other one is a jumper that I'm working on. So the sock whip that I have at the moment, I've actually finished one sock and I only just started the second one. So can show you. It's called. Oops, there's a bit of a hair on that. Let's get rid of that. It's called the main color that I'm using is from Regia, which is just a commercial yarn. I think it's actually from Germany as well, and it's just their. It's a bit random. Like some of their yarns they sell in 50-gram balls, and some they sell in 100 grams, even though they're the same. So it's a 75-25. Wool polyamide blend, so typical sock yarn I think, and this one is from the range that comes in the 50-gram balls, and the colorway is number 4067, which is called Indian Night. So I might actually just show you the yarn itself. So it's one of those ones that's it's not sort of speckled, but I think they sort of ply together. I think there's 3.
Like the different plies are different.
I think there's 3 strands, 3 yarns plied together that have these very long color changes. So I guess maybe it's kind of a little bit like it's kind of actually like the Zauberball in a way,
because that was similar as well, that it's different colors plied together.
But not all of their yarns are like that. Some of them are just more standard, like self-striping or just solid colors. But yeah, I just like the look of this one. And the mini that I'm using is just a mini that I got from like a bundle of minis from Melbourne City Dye Works, so it doesn't have a name. But
like this bit of the yarn it's like blue, black and yellow like plied together.
Yeah.
And then like the next bit is like, I don't know, there's like a yellow, green and
purple or something. Yeah.
Like a maroon.
So I guess the effect is that you get this sort of, it's just like this very multicolored look, which, I quite liked it.
It's almost sort of like a mild kind of effect.
Yeah, I think so. And so the reason as well that this ball of yarn looks so like mangled, this sock was driving me nuts. I've knit this sock about 4 times. Oh. So the first time I was knitting it, I forgot to change colour for the heel. And then, I had to rip back because
you weren't going to have enough.
I wasn't going to have enough because I only have one 50-gram ball. And then the second time I did change colour for the heel, and I got to the end of the foot before I started the toe, and I thought I'll just weigh how much I have left of this, and I had only like 18 grams left, so I was like, I'm definitely gonna have to shorten the leg to be able to get 2 out of a thing. And then I think the third time I did shorten the leg but not by enough. So the fourth time, and so at least
Fourth
now
time's the charm.
Well, I think I have like 26 grams or whatever.
Okay.
So I will have enough to knit the second sock, which I have only just started on the cuff. So I've barely started that one. So I think in the end I did 18 rounds for the cuff instead of 20, and then the fish lips kiss heel, and then the toe, and then I think I did 35 rounds for the leg before I started my heel increases. So in total, and then for the heel increases I do 13 rounds, so whatever 35 plus 13, 48. So it's kind of halfway between a shorty sock. I have been meaning for ages, and I just haven't got around to it, to like very carefully weigh like before and after, like how much do I use for a 20 round cuff, for a 50 round, like to actually get a proper idea. Like most of the time, I guess, because most of the time your main colour is 100 grams, it doesn't really matter, but it's just been a bit of a headache, so oh well. So I'm kind of annoyed at this sock now, but I will finish it because I do like it, but it's just been a bit of a pain to knit. And then the other whip that I have is my Highland Slipover by Ozetta Knitwear, and the yarn that I'm using is from La Bien Aimée. It's their Merino Aran base, and the colourway is called Calliope. So this is what it's looking like at the moment. So I've knit the short row shaping for the back, and then done the armhole shaping for the back, and picked up for the front, and I just yesterday joined the 2 left and right front panels at the neckline. So I'm just knitting on the front panel, and I think in about 20 rounds or so I'll be joining to knit in the round. So this one I actually knit the whole garment in the size large, and it was just too big for me, so I've pulled it out. So now I'm actually knitting the size medium. So I might just hold up on the back, I guess.
To see the
so colours. You can see the colours. And I am alternating skeins for this one. So in the bits that are knit flat, I'm just changing my yarn every 2 rows. But then once I join in the round, I'll just do helical knitting.
Because that's just to stop like colour pooling.
Yeah, it's just to spread out and like if you have one skein that's maybe a bit different to the other, you just don't get these sort of blocks of really obvious change. The only section where I haven't done that was the short row shaping for the back. I just couldn't work out how to alternate skeins there, because you're not knitting like a complete row and then you turn around. Maybe there is a way, but I couldn't figure it out. So and I don't think it matters, because it's just this very top panel that probably most of the time will be covered like by your hair or something anyway.
It looks fairly similar to the rest of it.
Yeah.
I think maybe some of this is just a bit more blocky.
So this one, I think I discussed this in our knit and chat episode. I've kind of made a new rule for myself that I don't knit socks when I'm at home anymore, because I just felt like all I was knitting was socks, which I like doing, but like then
I agree.
You agree with what?
That all you knit is socks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, not all you knit, but you knit a lot of socks.
Yes. So it just meant that I was not making a lot of progress on any non-sock projects. Yeah. So I
suppose maybe sometimes it is tempting for things that are like quicker for a bit of that, like not instant gratification, but like
fast.
It's satisfying that you can like finish something faster.
So now that I've put a sock knitting band like on when I'm at home, I've just been making a bit more progress. Like I've made a fair chunk of progress on that, and I finished this and I knit the other Ghost Whisperer. Yeah. So I think it's been a good.
It seems your rule seems to have been successful.
Good strategy. Yes. Yeah. So I think that's it for whips. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I guess we
can move on to the dream weaving, last section.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're heading into the last section of our podcast. I shouldn't wave this around, which is called Dream Weaving.
Yes.
And this is a segment where we talk about future projects or plans, things that we would like to work on. And then also, in particular, today's video is going to be a bit of a haul. So I guess if you're someone who is on a no buy or a low buy and you don't want to watch a haul section or like showing new purchases, feel free to finish up here and we will catch you in our next podcast. But if you don't mind to see recent purchases, then feel free to keep on watching.
Do you want to start or?
Yeah, so I have a very modest haul. So this was from, we went a few weeks ago to the
two weekends ago, yeah.
To the She's Crafty market in Castlemaine. We just made like a bit of a day trip. And it was like a nice day. So it was quite a nice kind of like little road trip to Castlemaine, which is a regional town that's about 1.5 hours out of Melbourne,
kind of from the
northwest of Melbourne. So yeah, we went to that market and then just had like a little kind of day going for lunch at a cafe, and there's like a huge like vintage bazaar of like secondhand goods. We kind of like browsed for quite a while. We didn't buy anything from there, but it was just like a bit, I suppose a lot of the stuff there is quite nostalgic, that a lot of the like crockery and china and stuff reminded me of,
Nana had one of these in her house.
Reminded us of like our Nana's house. So yeah, that was fun. But I bought just one skein of yarn at the market, which is this one here. Hopefully that will focus. And so the maker or the dye is called Owl of Athena. And the colorway is called Fairy Riot, which is a cool concept, fairies rioting. And you can see it's sort of like pinks and then a bit of like kind of green and some kind of warm sort of yellow, orangey, red kind of tones. And it's their Romulus sock, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it's a fingering weight yarn. So yeah.
So what do you have any particular plans for that, or
not yet? I just really liked the colorway of it. So,
and I think that one they only had one left of it, didn't they? That was the last one, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. So I probably had a bit of FOMO.
But I mean, I think I have a dream. My dream for dream weaving is to teach Pia how to knit socks. So maybe if you'll knit some socks with that would make me very happy.
Okay.
Of course you don't have to, but yeah.
So that's me for dream weaving.
So for my dream weaving, I thought I would show what I got at Castlemaine, but also some plans for coming into the Christmas season. So I bought, I'll just go maybe by dyer. So from Maximu was there, and I bought 3 colours from him. So this one is called Whiz Fizz, and these are all the ultra soft sock, I think, destined to be socks. So that's Whiz Fizz. This one, Rainbow Road, very wild, sort of lots of speckles, bright colours. Rainbow Road. Oops, dropped that on the floor. This one is called Pot of Gold. This one I already have one skein of this, but Pia actually picked this out for her Christmas present. She wants me to knit her pair of socks out of Pot of Gold. Then from Melbourne City Dye Works, I got this Tweedy yarn base, which is these ones, I should say, they're all the ultra soft socks, so they're 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon blend. So this one from Melbourne City Dye Works is called Poseidon, and it's an 85% superwash merino and 15% Donegal nep. And it's a fingering weight. I believe Melbourne City Dye Works, from next year onwards, they're not going to be using superwash yarns anymore. So I think, she was basically saying what we have at Castlemaine is kind of what we have left, and then everything's going to be changing, like all new bases next year. So I don't know what they'll.
And so, what kind of thing do you knit with this? Because it has these little kind of like bobbles in it.
So it's like a tweedy, like it just has like a tweedy effect.
Okay, so would you still make socks from it?
I'm not sure. Like it doesn't have any nylon content. You could use it in like a scarf or a shawl.
Oh, okay.
But maybe some socks. I just really like the colour. And I can't remember if I said the colourway is called Poseidon.
Yep. And I guess it's just like a bit different to, like, do you have any other yarns in your collection with this kind of...
Tweedy? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so I guess it's just nice to get something a bit different.
Yeah.
Unusual.
Hello, Kath and Kim. I can't remember if it was Kath or Kim who said that.
No,
that's what
I can't remember.
And then, so this one is from Passion Flower, and this one is called Pure Imagination. I think she did a bunch of yarns that were like inspired from various scenes from the Willy Wonka movie.
Oh, yep,
so
yep.
yeah, Pure Imagination, I think, was a song.
Yeah.
I feel like. This is her lattice sock base, which is, I think, just her standard sock base. So it's a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. So probably get a nice pair of colourful socks out of that. But I do like that it's sort of like muted colours, and the base is not white. It's actually, I think, a very light grey. Yeah.
Because, I suppose, like, these two, like, they will both give you kind of like a rainbow-ish effect.
Totally different ways.
It will just look completely different.
And then when Pia was looking at the Owl of Athena stand, they just had a bunch of minis, and I just really liked the colours of these two. So I think they're also that Romulus sock base, but the colourways didn't have any names on them. The skeins don't have any.
Might go with this.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it will.
Because that matches.
Yeah, actually, let's something like those two together, or even these two maybe might go. But I think that's actually quite a nice.
I suppose
combo.
This one will be quite easy to find something that matches because there's a lot of different colours.
Yeah. So that's what I got at She's Crafty. But then the other thing that I wanted to talk about for dream weaving was Christmas gifts. So, and these are actually just both from my stash. So I've picked out my Christmas gift. I'm just going to try and knit everyone in my family a pair of socks for Christmas. This is the one that I picked for my dad. It's another Zauberball in the Stärke 6, so the 6 ply. And this one, the colourway, I can't actually remember what the name is in German, but in English, the name is Spring is Here. So it's just like a blue and green kind of colours. And then my mum actually said she wanted something kind of blue as well. So I just pulled a bunch of yarns out of my stash, and this is the one that she chose. So this one is from Manos del Uruguay. Their Alegria sock base, which is again a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, and this colorway is called Mojito. So it's got sort of white, and then sort of blue, and then a bit of like yellow and some teal.
Yeah,
kind of
like greeny, sort of like a sea green type colour. So
she, like I showed her a couple, and she's like, "That's nice." And then when she saw this, she was like, "Oh, that one." So I was like, "Okay, we'll definitely go for that one then." That's my dream. So actually, as I was saying, that I was going to talk about this.
What to do with all of the socks that you knit?
Well, I think that maybe my no knitting socks at home rule might be lifted just to get all of this done before Christmas.
But then you might have a rule: no knitting socks for yourself.
Maybe, yeah. I could say no knitting socks for myself
until after Christmas or something like that.
Yeah. So hopefully by the 25th of December I can knit
So you got about a month and a half.
Yeah.
Because today is the 12th of November.
Today is the 12th. So so I think that's basically all of our plans and everything. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for today. And I think it seemed like people enjoyed the knit and chat episode that we filmed. So I think we're going to try and in between our podcast episodes film a knit and chat every couple of weeks. So that will probably be after this episode. The next video will be a knit and chat.
Yes, and I'll actually have to do some knitting because I don't think I can do pottery and chat. Is probably a bit hard.
We'll have to film it in your garage.
A bit messy, no, that won't do.
So thank you very much for joining us. If you liked the video, then please give us a thumbs up. I think that just helps share the video to other people on YouTube. And if you like the video and you're not yet subscribed to our channel, would of course very much appreciate you subscribing to our channel. All the information about any project details, yarn details, all of that, we try and put as much in the description box as possible. And there's also links in there to our Instagram and Ravelry pages. So sometimes there might be some more information on there.
You're a lot better at updating, like Instagram, with your finished objects and things like that.
That's all right.
But if you want to see in between the podcast episodes, if you want to have a look at, because you usually just post things when you finish them. Yeah,
most of the time. And of course, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we've shown, you can always feel free to ask in a comment, and we'll do our best to answer. So yeah, I guess that's basically it. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and until next time, we wish you happy stitching.
Bye.
Bye.